Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the live show. Hey, we're live today because it's Saturday. It's a good day. Saturday is a good day. Um, so we're live. We'll see who shows up today. And give me a second. I'm going to update these real quick in my list so we can start talking about coins. And market's looking really good. No issues with anything. I do see the DEXs really aren't participating that much. We'll talk about that. I think that's important. It doesn't mean they're not going to participate, just means they're not participating at the moment. So I don't think anything bad is going on. I actually think that this bull market is in a really healthy spot. I think we're just kind of getting started here, to be honest with you. So, all right. I got my list updated right there. Let's get started. We'll start talking about BTC, which is doing pretty good. Hey, what's up, English? Oh, I also have my stream set to a little bit higher latency, so I don't know how long it's going to take for when I chat to you hear me, to you responding. So if you want to say something, just kind of pop it up in there, and I'll get to it when I can. Hey, what's up, Trip? I've been pretty good, man. Yeah, things are going well. How about yourself? So BTC up here, really doing good. Hey, Brandon, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I was thinking about doing public videos. I just never quite get there. BTC doing pretty good. We had a couple of lines. I actually removed a couple of lines. Let's remove a couple more. My chart is pretty, probably kill this channel. Although we'll kill the bottom line just to make it a little easier. That's a good line. That's a good channel. I do like that 37 there. Tighten that up a little bit. I just want to make the chart a little bit cleaner here. I guess make it a little smaller so we see your guys' icons. Yeah, Brandon, I still do the show every day. It's just in the power hour. So, yeah, you're welcome to join that. And then, yeah, we do the show every day. This has been a tremendous rally. We've done some really good work. I got to say in the show, this is probably our best rally yet of ones we've done from each market cycle. This one we've done an excellent job. I don't think too many flaws in the show this go around. So it's been a good one. If anyone's considered joining, I would say it's the time. But yeah, so BTC doing good here. Looks like a small cup and handle actually. Now that I'm done house cleaning here a little bit. Nice little cup and handle. The sellers have taken a little bit of control here. Not the end of the world. The daily time frame still looks tremendous. Moving averages all pointing in the upward direction. I do think that BTC and this whole market, we're just in a general uptrend right now. I don't know if we're going to go parabolic sooner or later, or if, let's actually talk about that. Let's talk about longer term cycles, because these cycles can last for long periods of time. And I do think we're kind of in the middle of one, which means that there's plenty of time to make good and bad decisions about trading. So I think we're in a good spot. So if this was the low of the last cycle, this is the low of this cycle, and this last time around, just from peak to trough, took 844 days, 365, so about 2 years. So if that's the case, we're maybe have at least a year left in this. There was a lot going on over here. Obviously, COVID came in. We had a rally and then a decline. This one feels different, though. This one feels like it can sustain a little bit longer. I do get the feeling that crypto feels, especially Bitcoin, not the altcoins. Altcoins are still altcoins, but Bitcoin seems a lot more like a much more mature asset. It trades a lot more like a stock than it does a crypto. And if you've been involved in crypto a while, you know what I'm talking about. It seems a little bit more like we're like, oh, it's a bull market, but in reality, Bitcoin's only up 150%. Prior rallies were a lot more in a lot shorter period of time. And so, I don't know, it just feels like we're a little bit early in this cycle. And at some point, we'll get kind of a large standoff. We'll see what happens if and when we get up here towards that 65,000, 69K is the high over here, as we know. So we're going to see kind of how that plays out as we go up. Are we going to get a bigger consolidation? Here we had, in this last time around, we had the low kind of cup and handle thing. We popped out of that. and then we had COVID, and that one rebounded quickly. So we had this whole area right here that was problematic for us. So not really problematic, but you know what I mean. Pulled back. So this time around, this was a very sharp uptrend. This one not so sharp. This one taking its time. Not sure if we're gonna get this. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. But like I say in my public videos, which I haven't posted in a long time, one leg at a time with the market cycle in mind. And right now the market cycle is positive. We're in a bullish mode, and I don't think you can back away from that. I think you have to stay with it. Everything is printing bullish pictures. Our volume isn't exceptional. That is a flaw. It's not a deal breaker though. It just is what it is. What up, Brandon? I mean, I can't blame you, a bunch of ungrateful a-holes out there. I just got busy with work to stay in the power hours, able to watch replays. Really love the community and live aspect. Okay, cool. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, the show's pretty good. It's recorded now, except for Saturdays. Is what it is. Life goes on. But I really like the live aspect as well. I agree with you on that. That was the best part. Is the best part. Except for when you're in bull markets, then it's all good. But I think Bitcoin's just doing a great job right here, to be honest with you. I think we're good. I think we're in an uptrend. We're going to stay in this uptrend for the foreseeable future. We will have some pullbacks, as we know, but things are looking great. But Bitcoin isn't really rallying tremendous. It's the altcoins that are going to give you, percentage-wise, a good amount of the gain. Now, if you have a big Bitcoin hodl position, obviously your main focus is on Bitcoin, but which is why it's really stable. I mean, in this uptrend, it's had a couple of good up days, but 1 day here and 2 days here. Other than that, it's just been, ticking up a few percentage points here and there. We got a little bit of sideways over here. Now we're up through the 38, up at 44, and there you go. What up, fella? Hello, fella. Hello, fella. Need some more likes here, guys. Hit the like button. Appreciate it. That'll shoot this video out to some more people. That's how YouTube works. Unless they've changed that too. YouTube changes everything. Really not much to say about BTC. This trend line that I have here on my lower time frame chart, we're playing with it a little bit, but we're already going sideways, so I don't see any issue with that. We have this larger trend line here coming down from spiking up from 26, respecting the end of the channel here on the way up. So this is our current trajectory, and I think we'll sustain that at least until we test it. Hopefully, we'll rally a good amount before then. If we take measured moves, which we did this a little while ago, let's see where we're at now in comparison to those. It's hard to do a great measured move in this sequence because you have a small cup and handle base here and then an uptrend. So do you take it from here to here? And if you do that, then where do you start it? Because this whole thing's been an uptrend. So do you start it from the bottom of the breakout? That's kind of answering my own question. Let's do that. So that's kind of the breakout. So 50,000 is, if you want to take a measured move from where we could go. So here's where we started accelerating and then we paused. Here's where we started accelerating. So maybe we'll see the pause up here, and this is just the middle ground. And then we'll see another extension up to 50,000. Another big round number to scare some people. Didn't do a tremendously good job of scaring people over here. And where are we at? Right there's about 50,000. There we go. So there's 50,000. We didn't really stop on the way up. I don't know if we'll stop on the way up this time around, but anytime there's a big round number, you at least have to be aware of it and pay attention. Thanks for hitting that like button, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, so we'll see, but I think we're just in this middle ground. I think we'll have another leg up, and then we'll see where the chips fall at that time. And a lot of it's also going to be dependent on what the alts are doing. Let's do a quick recap, actually. Yeah, this is a good idea. Let's do a quick recap of this rally. So obviously, I don't remember who started us out, to be honest with you. Solana was really one of the first ones that we noted. We knew Solana was a leading candidate even before the downtrend. On the way down, we said, make sure we don't forget about Solana on up here. I remember this. We're like, hey, let's don't forget about Solana on the way down. When we start, maybe it was over here. But the point is that you can't forget the leaders of the last cycle, because Solana's been our leader this cycle. And ever since we put in this channel here, I have to delete my trend lines from time to time, so that's why I only have this many. But, when you know to keep an eye on something, then you start to notice good things about that. And Solana's done nothing but print good candles. Even since down here, like we gave it a shot at 22, that didn't work, which is fine. Gave it a shot at 2056, which did work. Also, coinciding with a trend line break and a channel break. So lots of positive things happening here, sparking our rally. I would say really probably on this day, September 30th. We did have some other coins that were doing good things as well along the way. Ethereum, unfortunately, not super participating. I mean, it did, but it wasn't leading the way. It was really Solana that led the way. So beautiful small consolidations here. Nice tight price action, nice tight chart patterns. This one was really prolific with the cup and handle, the 2457, and it did what you were hoping it would do. It did spark a major market rally. So now that we're here and we have a little bit of history behind us, you start to see what the market has been giving you. So I don't know how you guys view the market, but I always view it from a holistic standpoint. I try to view it as a whole, like by holistic, not holistic, wholistic. I try to view it as a whole, like the entire thing. What is the market doing? Because it's not that just Solana broke out and it's a leader and, it should have been the leader and it was the leader. It's that Solana broke out, but so did a lot of other things. And it's really important when you have all these other things working so good. And we've been talking about that in the past couple of weeks here, waiting for these breakouts of these large patterns. And that's the key, is that, Solana looks good. Ethereum looks good. Bitcoin's in an uptrend. We know what Bitcoin does when it's in an uptrend. It takes the whole market with it. It's just a question of what's going to move and when. So, taking stock of these large bases, Solana, Cardano just broke out from one, just almost name any of them. DOT 589, didn't really get going down here, but look at the volume lately. It's been tremendous. So taking this recap of the market and seeing what we've done and where we could go, I think this is a very sustainable rally. It's doing all the right things. The layer ones are moving. AVAX here is a layer one. The layer ones are moving good. Chainlink has been doing really, really well. So, this one moving. So there's your October. But see, Chainlink moved early too. So Chainlink, Solana have been our leaders to this rally. Also PancakeSwap in the mix. But, taking a look at the recap, we had those DEXs that were doing good, mainly PancakeSwap. And then we had Aave, which was looking pretty good for a minute. I mean, didn't really do tremendous things, but PancakeSwap with just super volume, all-time volume on PancakeSwap. These are the things you can't forget. And I actually have this on my newsletter today. So we're gonna go through this chart. But these DEXs are stalling out, and the fact that layer ones are the ones leading this rally, that is a tremendous sign that this is a pretty sustainable rally. Still have Tron on my list. Well, I don't have it on my list. It's in the top 20. And you guys know I try not to have too many hard and fast opinions on the market. So when Tron is up here at number 11, it is on my list. And I agree with you, Ian. We all agree with you. And we all feel each other's pain, and we can have a group hug about it later in the lobby. But right now we just have to work through it and grieve together is really all we have to do. I still have Shiba Swap up here. That hurts me every day. TON hurts. I don't even know what the hell TON is. This popped up one day when we revamped the top 20. Doge is still up here because of Elon Musk, basically. I mean, there's a lot of stuff up here that really shouldn't be up here, but it's still crypto. It just is what it is. Probably could move some. Monero can probably go away. Thank goodness. Caspa's right here at 27. We've been on top of Caspa to another layer one. Caspa's been a good one. Caspa had we were waiting on Caspa for a very long time in this consolidation. We had it on the way up here. I forget exactly when we started seeing it, but we had it here. But so the whole point is that as things have been behaving well, you got the sense that this market was ready to go. Okay, you just got the sense. And Caspa was just one of those tokens that, just has been in tremendous amounts of uptrends and was setting up again. And even before the market knew it was setting up, Caspa was setting up, because Caspa moved really, really early. It never stopped in reality. And then it started putting this large ascending triangle, and there you see the squeeze, right? and then boom, off to the races. There's your 0527 alert level. We had that up there for a long time, and then it just squeezed into it, and fortunately had an amazing breakout. But again, amazing volume. So I think I'm hoping we're like mid-cycle. I'm hoping. I don't know for sure, especially because Bitcoin's trading a lot more like a stock, and stocks can be hard to know exactly when they're going to end. You just kind of have to stay with them. And that's the main thing when it comes to trading is everyone tries to call the top and anticipate a price number, but all you can do is stay with it. You can go with it, stay with it, identify price action, and just through knowledge of history, really understand where you are in these cycles. So when you talk about a Solana, and we've already come from 20 up here to 60, up 200%. I could see how, and again, I don't know if anyone talked about this or not, but I could see how a lot of people said, oh, this is done. I could see some people saying that because you're up 200%. Every rally in recent history, even if you have a good coin, it goes up 100, 200%, it just dies on the vine. But this time is different. Understanding that it's a leader, understanding the volume that stepped in, the amount of buying pressure around here, you have to expect this to go higher. Okay, especially at this time with such a good rally, you have to expect it. But those that don't really understand the history of these rallies and haven't gone back and done their homework don't understand that this is a beginning point. This is not an ending point. Okay, and we have other methods we use to mark tops. We did a whole thing on my pi method recently in the show, and no pi method tops. I mean, we had Cardano with a topping candle just yesterday actually, and it said, "Fuck your topping candle, I'm going up." And that in of itself is a signal, a good signal. So there you go. I mean, all systems go, really. All systems go. Look at the volume in Cardano. I mean, really, it's just this whole market thus far has been very good, very stable. Volume hasn't been blockbuster, knock you out of the park volume in one hit. You know what I mean? Like if you look at this uptrend, you had a great uptrending of volume, but then what happens? What happens is you get this biggest volume candle, and then it just stalls. And it's not a bad thing because it stalled us up here at $25 for months, for freaking almost a year, like 9-10 months over here. Actually, 279 days. It stalls us out. But this is a different scenario than this is. Look here, you're in a downtrend. You come down. Okay, you spike, and then you just bounce. You get a little flag. You get a tiny little flag here, which is buyable. And then it bounces, and it forms a little consolidation. It bounces, little consolidation. Look at these, just going up, going up, going. This is a very quick rally. There's no base. There's no consolidation. Versus you look at what we just placed. This is a whole different ball game. This is completely different. And this is what has to give you the confidence that maybe we actually are going to rally. And I say maybe because we don't know until it happens over here at 24. But here you already have a couple of established lows. We're already in an uptrend overall, right? If you don't believe me, I mean, there's your uptrend right there. I got a trend line sloping up. That's an uptrend. So you have your uptrend already in place. You have a couple of attempts to go higher that fail. Higher low, really tight channel here. Like if you're to try to draw a trend line off of anything over here, you can't. I mean, like it's just the widest, like trying to get tight with it. That's nonsensical. Look at how much action you have spiking under there. You try to give it to the close right there. Like, what is this? How do you do anything with this? But look at this. This is super nice and tight. And even other than that, preceding this, you have another nice uptrend. So you have a higher low, and then you have tight price action, and then we're gone. And then how does the price action behave? Right? Price action behaves beautifully. So instead of these kind of small consolidations, which don't give anyone a chance to catch their breath, here you do. You have a base, you have a small consolidation, a small cut base here inside of the channel that gives you an opportunity. Here we had an opportunity. It wasn't a great one. You can see we kind of started this really low off at the top of the channel. This one really close to the channel. So by the time it comes back up and breaks through, we're already broken out of the channel. That's a 1 and 2, boom, boom. Right there, you're good. And then you get pretty good volume on the breakout day. It's a little bit above average, but then the follow through there, look at that. If you didn't believe here, and so if you remember some of my old shows, we talked about runs or built from a confluence of traders forming a consensus opinion, essentially. And the people that didn't believe here are starting to believe here. Okay, if you don't believe at the 2056, if you think it's pretty good at 2056, but you didn't have the balls to take it, you do here at the 2457. This is a full-blown cup and handle. Look at that volume candle stepping into play. Now they can't hide their buying pressure. Now they can't hide their buying pressure, and you have to go there. You have to go at 2457, just like you have to go here at 66.53, because at this point everybody sees it, and that's, I mean, that's the recap of the rally right there. So where are we at right now? Well, we're up in a good place. Our volumes are big, but they're not massive. This doesn't reek of selling pressure, I don't think. I don't see it. Cardano's having good days. So, I mean, we're in the middle of these breakout rallies. The question is, how far will they go and how will we consolidate? So far, these uptrends have been very consistent. You get a little bit of distribution right there, but it doesn't pull back at all. Comes back up, and we had a 41.81 being very aggressive. This is where you're aggressive. And a good example of being aggressive is we talked about bottom buying Chainlink right here, like at the low in the chat room. I mean, just beautiful cup and handle on this particular one. Again, we talked about Chainlink being a leader and identifying when to be very aggressive, can be fruitful. So right now, as it doesn't break out, we just tried the 1662. It didn't break out. It's pulling back. If you're in here, you're fine. You're just chilling. You don't have any problems with what it's doing because you got a good position. So, I mean, so far this rally is increasing in breadth. You got Cardano now, blasting off yesterday, today. Breaking out a few days earlier. You got DOT. So your layer ones are leading this rally. That's a very healthy position to be in. All right, let's go to individuals. Spent a lot of time talking about that. Let's get to it. So next up is Ethereum through the 2137. Not doing too bad here. Lower volume a little bit. We'll see. Ethereum really hasn't led this rally ever. I think it had one day where it was doing pretty good. I think it was this day, actually. Other than that, it's been, I don't want to say the victim. It has been moving of its own. It's been moving by itself, basically. And but it's doing pretty good up here. A little bit of stalling, but overall, not too bad. Let's bring the 2 hour back in here. So you can see on the 2 hour time frame, been doing pretty good. Probably can adjust a trend line here. And a little bit of stalling action here, but not near one of the top candles here. Let's look at some comments here. I think I missed a couple of them. Ian asked, how do you think mining companies like Riot will fare with the upcoming halving? I don't know. Riot has not been correlated too much to BTC. I actually have a Riot position, and it's been a little bit underwhelming, to be honest with you, with what Bitcoin's been doing. So I really have no idea. Those stock derivatives of Bitcoin have a couple things going for them. Number one, they are tied to the price of Bitcoin, but they're still companies and they have their own operational deficiencies. So from that perspective, it's hard to know exactly what the market is thinking about them. You just wish it would move with Bitcoin, but it really hasn't been doing too good. If the Bitcoin really gets going, I don't see how it can stay still, but it's going to be tough. Feels like retail is still clueless to rally. What BTC price will retail get off of the sidelines? We're getting there. They're already starting to talk about it, this Bitcoin rally past 40,000. So it's getting there. But the fact that you feel like that, is really good, because that means that we're still early in the cycle. And I do hope that's the case. I hope that we remain early for a little bit longer and can just, build bigger positions to hopefully we will get some type of a parabola at some time. But like I said earlier, this rally could last another year. And within that year, we will have multiple structures and bases to buy off of and to screw our accounts up. And that's really the key during these rallies as you make profit, is to not give it away. Not give it away during consolidations, not make a bunch of stupid decisions. That's really the hard part to this. And I try to do a decent job of always having a risk first approach, when I talk about potential trades. So you guys need to take that approach as well. Risk first always. So Ethereum here chopping around, not doing bad though, holding up nice and sideways. Like anything, this could move at any time. I thought we'd have a rally weekend. We're doing okay, but some things are just chilling up here, and 0.23 for ETH really isn't bad. Speaking of bad, that's a good segue to talk about BNB. BNB really hasn't been participating much. Obviously, it's under a lot of pressure with Binance being sued, and that's what that big red candle is about. So really not much going on here. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. We got other fish to fry. If you guys do have coins you want to talk about, shout them out in the chat, and we can circle around to them. Next up is XRP. Doing okay, did finally rally through the 6308 definitively. You can see we played with it here, played with it here, played with it here. That finally broke up definitively yesterday. Hopefully we can stay above, but XRP just really does what it wants to do. It kind of only moves on XRP news. It's a really weird asset. I'm not really interested in XRP. It'll have its day like everything, but it is what it is. Solana, our leader. Everyone bow down to everyone bow your heads to the leader. This is the leader of the rally. Doing good, not fantastic though. Volume coming in really good, almost double average volume for 3 consecutive days there. The first day was a little bit iffy, but it came back around nicely. Volume aggregation tool does show the sellers are still around, and right now we're starting to pull back a little bit. I've got a line here at 80 that I think goes to a prior high, prior pivot point right there. So we stalled at that pivot point line. I guess that's a natural pivot point. This goes back to May 22. It's about a year and a half ago. Usually by now these don't hold as much significance, but this one seems to be doing some kind of, it is holding some kind of significance, unless that's random. It's hard to know if it's random or a really old line, but this is a valid line. Held up 3 times right there, finally broke through. That is a valid line. It was just never retested. So here we are retesting a year and a half later. We'll see how this goes. 30 minutes into a 2-hour candle volume isn't too bad. We'll see where it is by the end of the show. A couple more things coming in here. What's up, Loopy? How you doing? Read this comment, take with a grain of salt, of course. There's one indicator that has a 100% hit rate on catching the micro top of a full bull run, Coinbase being the #1 downloaded app in the App Store. Oh, that is interesting, Loopy. I didn't know that. Yeah, that makes sense. So the #1, are you talking about in Apple's App Store or either App Store? Because it's pretty much Android and Apple. Not easy to grab profit on the way up in anticipation of stacking up during the coming major pullback. So yeah, that brings up a good point. So this kind of goes into trading strategies. I'll touch on this briefly. It's an interesting question though, and one I often have with myself. It's not easy to grab profit on the way up in anticipation of stacking up during the coming major pullbacks. It's not simple. It can be done. It depends on if you're doing leverage trading. Crypto doesn't really have options. Deribit kind of fell away a little bit, but yeah, I often ask myself this, how to handle that, because it is interesting. Because look, Solana here. Let's say you bought a leveraged position at 24.57. And I don't know if they made you sell or not, probably auto liquidated you, due to profit or something. But how do you get back into that position once you lose your entry? That is core to trading, actually. There's not a lot talked about that, but I found that to be one of the struggles with doing something, is because crypto is kind of a closed ecosystem, right? There's not a lot of leaders. You only have about 3, 4, or 5 if you're lucky. When it comes to the stock market, there could be 10, 15, 20, 30 leaders, and they could rotate one into the next. It's easier in the stock market. In crypto, you do have to get back in. And if you're doing leverage trading, it's even more difficult, because your stop loss when you're leverage trading is everything, is 100% everything. If you don't have a good stop loss, you're going to get shaken out of your position, and it's going to go. It's just the way it's going to happen. So yeah, how do you deal with that? Well, I think you have to get really good with identifying local tops, and whatever methodology that you use for that. But you have to be able to get right back in, and there's a skill set in that. I've got it. I'm still developing it. It's not perfect, but once you start to really understand price action and like what all these little 2-hour candle means, right? 2-hour candles mean. So we talked about Link earlier, bottom buying Link. Here's a good example, is that, like, if you try to bottom buy Link in here, you knew Link was a leader. You're looking to buy the handle. You're looking to buy the bottom of the handle. Well, you're here. You have a few days to do it. Let's say you buy it right here. You got low volume going down. This is pretty good price action to buy a low, in my opinion. And here you go. Your stop loss is right here. about 1%. That is an amazing stop for a leverage trade. If you want to do that trade, you can do that trade, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times if you want to, for like 1%. And not do too much harm to your account. But if the thing rallies for 100%, you're gangbusters. But then you get stopped out, right? Then you get stopped out. So you got to be able to get back in. And this is where we talked about bottom buying. If you go down to like this really small time frame charts, like the 5-minute charts, you start to see the volume signature step in, right? So you see hammer candle, hammer-ish candle, hammer-ish candle, hammer-ish candle, and you notice these big volume spikes, and then that's where that trend line came into play right there. That is a great entry. You could buy on this hammer candle if you're ballsy enough. You could buy on this lower volume pullback. You could buy here, you could buy here, you could buy here, but that's like a really safe place to enter. So if you're talking leverage, you have to be extremely patient. And if you did take profit on, let's go back to the 2-hour time frame. If you did take profit on Link on the way up, you know what I mean? So you're in this uptrend, breakout 11,806, you're in the uptrend. Maybe you take profit up here. Maybe you try to get in, you get stopped out. And then what happens? Well, it comes back down. Maybe you get in you know what I mean? Maybe you get in a trade. But you kind of have to realize where we are potentially. If you were super lucky and bought down here, maybe you're holding this and you're still holding it. I don't know. But to your point, how to get out and get back in, it's never a perfect science, but as long as you're stacking and stacking and stacking and you keep those stop losses really small and understand kind of where we are in the cycle. So let's say you sell on these candles, and I can't blame you. Those are some pretty crazy candles right there. If you're from up here, right, you got a huge profit built in. You get taken out, and then you go up here again. You try to buy on the breakout. That's a pretty good looking candle right there. I don't fault you for taking that one. Then it falls out. Maybe you have a break even stop. Maybe you stop out at a loss. Whatever the case may be. You have to understand it, because at this point everything was consolidating. Right? Everything was consolidating, and that's where you have to play. You can do a lot of damage here. A lot of damage. So you really have to, have the focus and the patience to wait for the best signal. Are you going to try to bottom buy? If you're going to try the bottom buy, then you have to realize you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to get stopped out quite a few times. So you have to mitigate that damage. Or are you going to wait for some good alerts? You know what I mean? So that's kind of how you have to approach that, is understanding it's going to be imperfect and understanding your signals and your strategies. Okay. And if you can do that effectively, you can, just do amazing things. Just amazing things. But it's not easy. It's very difficult. A lot of traders try to do that, but what they end up doing is they're not patient enough. They try too many times and their stop losses are too wide. There's every mistake, every single mistake is what are the mistakes, pretty much, right? Like those are all the things you can do. Those are all the ways you can fuck up, and you're going to do that. But if you look at this chart and you don't understand what's happening in it, that's probably, that kind of price action trading probably isn't for you. Yet. You need to figure that out. And it takes a lot of looking at charts. It takes a lot of understanding, like, what is a good situation, what is not a good situation. When I'm in this first pullback, do I want to buy this one or not? Like, look at that hammer candle. That's do I want to buy this? Why not? You need to have an answer for that. You need to be able to explain why you're doing the things that you're doing if you're going to employ that strategy. Otherwise, you buy with no leverage and you just hold until the end of the entire rally, which isn't yet. So, all right, let's move on. Next up is Cardano. So Cardano moving up, just a beautiful move through the 39.91. And yesterday I did mention there was a topping candle right here, and then Cardano basically immediately negated that, came back down, came back up. It has another topping candle. So here we are starting to see some distribution, which makes sense. We did just rally 62% in basically a week, a little under a week. So we're going to see some distribution. We'll see if we get some additional consolidation out of this volume aggregation tool. It shows the sellers have been with us pretty much the entire time, but the buyers are very persistent. Nothing to do up here. I don't think you buy or short up here. There's nothing to do. You wait to see how the market's going to play out. If you wanted to take profits, I mean, you are in an area to do so. Kind of like what we were just discussing. See, here's the thing: when you have a tremendous profit, 48%, you're not in a bad position. You're just not. If you're leverage trading, it gets trickier. Like I said, your stop losses get trickier. If you have a leverage position and you sell this, you have to wait for much better price action. Much better price action. All right, next up is Tron. It's Doge. Is it Doge or is it Tron? Did I do Doge? I didn't do Doge. There's Doge. Okay. Doge 8641. 08641 was the alert here. This thing finally getting going a little bit yesterday. And on the intraday, it looks like a cup and handle, actually. I think I need to throw an alert here. Let's do so at the 10511. So that's going to be our new alert for Doge. So this one's been a little bit choppy, but this is actually not a bad chart pattern on the intraday. On the daily, it looks like a crazy setup, but intraday on the 2-hour, it actually is pretty manageable. Volume aggregation tool looks pretty good. RSI is a little bit extended, but you kind of have to let that go when we're in crazy bull trends, which we really are right now. Like I just talked about, kind of hard to bottom buy this one. You know what I mean? This is a good, if you want to practice doing things like that, this is a decent one to practice on. Go in the lower time frames, do some paper trading. Look for those candles and those volume signatures. I can't go too deep into it. I don't have that much time, but there's certain volume signatures to look for that are really key to that type of trading. But yeah, maybe this will have a secondary move. We've seen a lot of coins out of favor start to move. That brings breadth into the market. That's a very healthy thing. Next up is Tron. So Tron, we had an alert. Moved it yesterday to the 107.2. We're trying to go through it. Volume isn't very dramatic, but the VA tool likes it on the 2-hour chart. So not such a bad thing there. We'll see if this is able to get going. If you did want to buy this one, the volume just isn't that consistent, or I should say isn't that big. It's going to be hard to find a great stop. I was looking at this one yesterday. I'm like, where's a good stop? And it's just really hard to find one. You probably have to put it down here, which is going to be pretty deep at this point. I guess, wow, that's not deep at all. It's only 2 3/4 to 3%. So maybe you can jump in. But Tron really just kind of moves on its own. It was wide and loose. It seems that it's tightening up. We are getting some elevated volume, but we're not getting a lot of price appreciation. So that's a problem. I think it's going to have its day like everything else does. But if you want to buy it now, yeah, maybe you can give it 6% and just let it go if you really want to. But it's not a leading token. So I don't know. I don't like it. Next up is TON. That's TON. Next up is DOT. And DOT just put together some pretty good candles on us. Look at the volume on DOT. Actually increasing in comparison to these candles over here. Not by the average volume, but just the amount of volume stepping in per day. Just absolutely really, really good volume. And the past couple of days broke through the 589. Didn't really chop it up too badly. We had a little bit around here, but that's not bad at all. And then off to the races, a retest here the other day. If you like DOT and want it, there you go. It is kind of hard to know what things are going to move and when in the market cycle. So, if you're loaded up on a Solana and a Link and then DOT moves, it's okay. You just kind of have to wait it out. They'll have their day like everything's going to have its day. They'll be back in vogue again once everyone's forgot about them. So, but DOT with a good move. I don't think you can do much up here. Buying pressure creeping in a little bit, but this is a much needed move for DOT in my opinion. All right, next up is Matic. Matic's doing okay, but this is a layer 2. The market is into layer 1s. And so this really doesn't have a major breakout yet. And I do have an alert up here. This is actually active 9638. That's a real alert. Let me just double check that. I'm assuming because it's on there, but I don't have an update after that. Let me find Matic 9638. Yep, okay, that's an active alert. So that's good. We'll see if it's going to do it. Like I said, layer 1s right now. Matic is a layer 2. So it's not in vogue. When the layer twos start to move, historically, you're past early cycle. You're past like early cycle. Hopefully, we're still early for a little bit. All right, next up is Litecoin, which has really had a hard time getting any kind of real momentum. 75.08 was broken yesterday. We're pulling back here. This has just been a non-starter. I think Litecoin's good tech. It is what it is, but trading-wise, no one's that interested. Bitcoin Cash is a similar situation. Oddly enough, or not oddly enough, both forks of BTC, as we know. If you don't, now you do. All those are forks of Bitcoin. And yeah, Bitcoin Cash not really doing anything either. Chainlink, another one of our leading tokens. This one not getting started. I think the DEXs, which have become part of this cycle, I think the DEXs are going to be a large part of this cycle, as they have already been a large part of this cycle. Chainlink provides information for the DEXs, just not getting going right now. I see some distribution stepping in as we go over the 16,623. So, you know, you can let your stops ride. At this point in time, it's hard to rotate into like a DOT or a Cardano, which is already up a tremendous amount. If you want to find something that really hasn't broken out yet, you're going to find more sketch names. You're going to find the Trons, which are just playing with the breakout level. But could this get going? Yeah, it could. We just saw what DOT did. DOT chopped around here for a little bit and then started edging up, then finally got the volume late. You know, you could see that with some of these other names too. So it's hard to know exactly, but Chainlink with really good volume yesterday, 50% plus over average volume. Aggregation tool showed really nicely, but today we're getting a bit of a pullback. I don't think it's anything too dramatic, and it'll get going in time. Our trend line here, is that a real one? It looks like we can tighten it up here. Right there. Still some room to the trend line. Several days for this to kind of chop around until it really kills trend. It hasn't had a major breakout, but we did lift off of the handle. So I'm hoping this line stays respected. Shiba Swap. Speaking of tokens that have no reason being in the top 20, Shiba Swap. Shiba Swap getting choppy. This one also looking like a cup and handle. Doge looked like it too, if you recall. Big wick right there. How far are we from this? I guess my last alert was at the 859. Look how good of alert that was comparison to all this up here. You know, when we're in these bull markets, try to buy low if you possibly can. I got a little bit of blue on my screen there. There we go. Yeah, try to buy lower if you can. I didn't really like the breakout. It's just too much wick up here. But look at all the choppiness once it became obvious, right? That 859, that was the level right there. So this one's not too bad. It does have a cup and handle feeling to it. I think this is a pattern. We'll respect it like we did Doge's. And we got the 1044. So I'll adjust this one. Shiba Swap? Yep. Bam. Can you guys hear my keystrokes there? I'm like kind of pounding on the keyboard. The mic's about 6 inches from it. Just curious if you guys could hear that or not. All right, next up is AVAX. AVAX here, really dramatic moves up. 2462 through the 2147. We did get chopped around there a little bit though. Through the 2642 perfectly, and then just onward and upward yesterday. Beautiful move up. Now looks like we're getting a little bit of distribution. Nothing too crazy though. Just another consolidation up here will be pretty good. Oh, I did see your comments. Yeah, we will take a look at those when I get to altcoins. ICP and SP. There's that stupid heart in the way. Is that SPELL? Okay, it is. Yeah. Yeah, I did have some alerts on ICP, as a matter of fact. I don't think they went off. I don't remember covering it subsequently, so I'm not sure. But AVAX, really good price action. Nothing wrong here. And another layer one. This one got going later in the cycle. It didn't really move. See, look how sloppy this. And we noted this versus Solana in the moment. How, because we thought maybe AVAX would lead instead of Solana, but apparently the market doesn't feel that way. And Solana led. Solana led instead of AVAX. I thought that it maybe go together, but AVAX came through late and it's coming through late this cycle too. So after things move, look for AVAX to move. Apparently that's what they do. All right, next up is XLM. On XLM, we had the 1233, which really got chopped through, and now we have this 1354, which is not quite an inverted head and shoulders because the volume signature is horrible. But it looks like we're trying to get going. Maybe it'll finally have a move. We talked about late cycle movers. So by the time the garbage starts to run, everything is a little late cycle. So maybe this is kind of garbage. Maybe it'll move and then we'll circle back to the good ones. That's when Solana and Link will start to run again. We'll see. But if you want it, I guess you could take it. Volume is pretty good. Volume's pretty good. Look at the daily volume already. It's massive compared to, and the volume aggregation tool shows the sellers are not in control. Buyers are in control. So good stuff. RSI is at a pretty high level. So hopefully we'll continue getting higher and higher. So that could be one if you have some cash to try to rotate into, but you got to, let's look at a good stop actually. Because we're 2% out, which is fine. You did have some support here at about the 4% level, big red candle right there, about the same level as big green candle came in. So yeah, maybe about a 4%, 5% stop loss right now. But this can get choppy. Look what it did around the 1233. Just came in with some selling pressure. Bam. It's very difficult to get in these late movers like this. I don't like them. They're just too random. But don't want to dissuade you from doing what you want to do there. That's how you can handle it. All right, XMR. Trying the 173.33. This one, I don't want to call it a stable coin, but the percentage moves really aren't that good on it. And its price action lately has been insane. So not much to do there. And then Atom, another layer 1, which is trying to get going. Tried midday yesterday into today. Seeing some distribution already. Just not a good chart. It just doesn't look very structured. Volumes all over the place. You got a bunch of big red candles. It's like blah. Like if it's really that good, these candles wouldn't even have a chance to get red. But yet they kind of are. So we got it at the 10.15. You can see it chopped around here as well, though. This is just not a very well performing asset. All right, next up is the wrap up. So wrapping up the top 20. We've already gone through quite a bit, 47 minutes into the show. So we got BTC in a really positive spot up here, just holding nice and tight. Ethereum doing something similar. Some of our early leaders like Solana doing good. Chainlink trying to break out, but finding some resistance. And late stage things that used to be good, that kind of are still good, are now moving. So, but they're layer ones. Cardano's a layer 1, that's a good move. DOT's a layer 1, that's a good move. AVAX, layer 1, that's a good move. It's really great when these layer 1s are moving. It's just a really healthy market. So it rotates from the layer 1s into the other ones, into the other ones. That's kind of how it goes. XLM closely mimics XRP price movements. No idea why. Well, they're actually, XLM's a fork of XRP. Even though they do different things, I think. I don't really like either coin, to be honest with you, but they're forks of one another. And still to this day, they move together. It's asinine to me, which is why I don't really put a lot of credence into either of those names. All right, let's move on to altcoins. First up is Algo. So Algo, a beautiful move up out of the 1476, stayed above it for a little bit, and then just yesterday the extension, and today the extension is dramatic. Now we definitely have a stalling candle way up from the 14. We're at what, 20? So that was a pretty monster move, about a 50% move, getting some distribution. We'll see how this plays out in the next couple of days, and then maybe we'll throw alerts. So the alerts, by the way, if you guys don't know, those are for my Power Hour members. We have a Slack channel which alerts us to all of these alerts when they go off. And obviously you guys can copy them if you want to, but we do have them in Slack. Next up is PancakeSwap. Symbol cake. Okay, I want to do some work here. PancakeSwap. Earlier I mentioned DEXs are likely one of the leading sectors, if you will, in this market. And I think this is a good example why PancakeSwap, look at this volume. This is just so much volume. It dwarfs. This is the dinosaur in TradingView. You've made your way through all available data. There's no prior data to that. And look at the volume, absolutely tremendous. And the move up was tremendous. No major topping signatures. I think we have some work to do on this chart. I'm actually going to kill some old stuff, and we're going to do some work. Let's work this chart. So we kind of had this as a base here at the 2421, which it was, and then it broke out and it didn't go very far. Yeah, 18%. So it didn't even go a full 20% before it started consolidating again. So this loosely could be considered a base on base, I'm thinking. And I'm actually going to get rid of, I think I'm just going to get rid of everything. I'll keep the number there, but we'll get rid of the line. I'm even going to kill the moving averages. So I mentioned this could turn into a head and shoulders pattern. Obviously, we're in a super bullish market, so head and shoulders pattern makes no sense here. There's no sense for this to break down, especially given the volume signatures. This thing should be in for another monster leg. Okay, let's just be clear about that. I think this has a lot more to go. Recent history low of basically $1, high of 286. So that's a pretty good move, and I think we got more to go. So what I just talked about leads us maybe into a base on base pattern. So here's one base. It's not really a base though because it's small, but it is crypto. And then here we kind of have a cup and handle forming. So maybe this is what we have. Yeah, maybe this is it. Maybe it's a cup and handle with a base on base. Base on base formations are very powerful. We don't see them too often in crypto. One of the best base on base patterns is actually Cardano. Now that I'm thinking about this, coming out of 2020, I think. Maybe it was earlier than that. Which one is it? Oh, you got more data than that. That's just Binance. Maybe it's this one. Oh, it's right there. There it is. Staring me right in the face. Base on bases are kind of rare. It's hard to spot them. Here's a base on base. Here's a cup and handle. Right here. Goes on to form another cup and handle right away. This is called a base on base pattern. These are very powerful. Very, very powerful. The reason being is because cup and handles are accumulation patterns, and they don't have to both be cup and handles. They can be a number of things. We have a flat base and a cup and handle right now with pancake swaps. So I'm hoping that it is a base on base pattern. And look at this thing. So it broke out, it based, it came back based again immediately, and then you get a monster breakout. And this sparked the entire effing rally. So you can say it has no credence. You can say it's random, say I'm full of shit. I don't care. I love it. And I just thought about it again. After how many years now? From 2020. It's still sticking in my mind. Such a beautiful base on base. You never know what anything's going to do when you see a chart pattern. That's one of the beautiful things. But look at this rally. I can't say Pancake Swap's going to do this, but you go here from 3 cents to $2. And it starts from a base on base pattern after basically a capitulation shakeout. It's just beautiful, beautiful price action. What up, Omar? Yeah, I don't do a lot of, I think about doing them, but I'm actually live on another channel now. I keep forgetting to mention it, but Altcoin Buzz Trading is the name of the channel, and they actually hired me to do videos for them. They do a garbage job of promoting it, to be honest with you, because I don't get very many views, and not that that's their fault, but I don't think they do good promotion. They just put up a thumbnail and let the YouTube algorithm take it. And I'm not a very viral kind of a guy. You guys know me. I'm not the cool guy. I'm not the viral guy, but anyway, you can find me on Altcoin Buzz Trading with some really quick videos. They only want like 4 or 5 minute videos. You can find me there every day. But I do think about, oh yeah, the guy that owns that whole thing reached out to me like a year or two ago, and said he'd work with me one day, and then he reached out one day and said he wanted to start working with me, and I'm like, oh, okay. So, but I'm just not cool enough for like real YouTubers. But yeah, they're basically, I can't say it's my best content because I'm a long format kind of a guy, and they only want short videos. So it's not my best. I'll say that. I do my best to make it my best, but I'm limited on time when I do those videos. So I do my power hour, and then I try to take some safer situations and put them on Altcoin Buzz while still sprinkle a little bit of little bit of Randy in there, I guess. But anyway, you can find me there if you're interested. Or just join the Power Hour again, where you get me every day. There you go. Join the Power Hour, damn it. I hate promoting myself, but damn it, I have a service for a reason. And in this bull, I gotta say, in the bull market, if you were gonna invest in something, the bull market is a good time to invest in the Power Hour or whatever else you guys wanted to do if you want to get some stuff. It's a bull market. I mean, you're gonna if you unless you egregiously mishandle the trades, you're gonna make something. So anyway, but yeah, so Cardano double bottom or base on base pattern. And this also could be a base on base pattern. Base on base patterns are not common. I can't say this would be the best base on base pattern. This should have more basing to it, maybe twice as long. But I guess it is what it is. But still, with this kind of a volume, like I don't want to sleep on it. I just don't want to sleep on Pancake Swap. No major topping candles on this pattern. Look at our actual topping candle here. What's that? It's just a good candle. Like there's nothing in here that is like, oh yeah, that's topping. I should have sold that. I should have sold that candle. I'm an idiot for not selling. Like you don't get that. When you go back and look at even on the 2-hour time frame, like let's go look at the top here. What's scary here? Look at the topping candle. It's nothing. They didn't distribute this. They they sold a little bit up here. See the VA tool, pretty horizontal up here. The seller's kind of keeping up, but there's no overt selling here. So I would be surprised if this didn't have another go at some point. So if this is a cup and handle, let's throw the alert. 2.732. Okay, so that's going to be our new alert level. If this is indeed a cup and handle, I'm just going to kill this one because we have a new alert level. That's fine. I try not to kill alerts, but in some situations I do, and I think this warrants it. 2.732. Okay. So let's see how that goes. We just mentioned DEXs a little bit ago. Obviously, Pancake Swap is a DEX, and Link is linked to DEXs. No pun intended on that one. So when they get going, maybe they'll move together. I don't know, but I don't want to sleep on Pancake Swap. Okay, beating that dead horse. Let's go to EGLD. I gotta start hurrying. I think I have a soccer game to coach in about an hour. EGLD. Cup and handle breakout. This is another one we were being aggressive. That's that level. Yeah, so that was that level. Look at that. We got a level and even before the handle. Look where we bounced right off of that 47.54. So it goes to show you the wisdom is in the charts, ladies and gentlemen, right there. So I didn't have an alert up here because we already kind of got it down there if you want it, but that is a buyable situation. We're a little bit outside of buyable range at 5.36%. You want to buy within 5%. You don't want to buy further out than that. It gets harder to have a good stop loss, and you're likely to lose more money than you want to. But if you really wanted to, I guess you could probably give this maybe a full 8% if you wanted to. But there's no guarantee that we won't be shaky and choppy. But look at EGLD. It's a beautiful, beautiful pattern, beautiful chart. Looks excellent. And overall, it's very healthy. So EGLD doing really good right there. Near protocol. Near protocol through the 2-191. Guys, you can just see how thick this market is. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. Again, we had the early alert at 191 trying to be aggressive, and the 2-191 right here on the traditional breakout and handled it really well. Broke out here, small pullback, bounce, and now we got up here. Already seeing a little bit of distribution. Near is, I don't remember if it's a layer 1 or not, to be honest with you, off the top of my head. But I do remember it goes in vogue, and when it goes in vogue, it tends to have these really good rallies. And look at the volume stepping in. Look at the middle of the consolidation. Volume just dropped off dramatically, and then boom, right back at it. So these guys that want to accumulate near are doing their jobs. Next up is XTZ. XTZ, oh, there it is. I was going to say, do I have an alert here? I got a line, but no alert. That's fairly unusual. 95 for XTZ. Again, I'm not sure if Tezos is a layer 1 or not. I don't remember. 2.93. So still within a buyable range. You can see a much more simplistic chart, right? It's unique that this is simplistic versus some of the other ones have a lot more dynamics to them. The uptrend was really just a kind of what's called Dan Zanger calls a frozen rope, right there, just frozen rope, and then a smallish cup, and it's trying to break out. So a little bit anticlimactic. I can't say it's going to do amazing things, but it's a large cup, and I threw an alert on it, and now it's breaking out. XVS. All right, XVS here. We've had a couple alerts, the 902. Now we have the 1192. It is pulling back a little bit here. Our volume is very low, which is pretty nice. The volume aggregation tool shows buyers are a little bit more in control. This is an interesting one. It's pretty wide. I don't want to say loose, but it goes tight, then it explodes. Really without a lot of warning. Here an early alert level would have done good, but this isn't one I focus on. So yeah, 736 right there would have been a great early alert. You see the little resistance there as it wedges up. That's a great thing to look for, especially later in these cup style of bases. That could be a signal by itself. Actually, I do take some good trades, especially in stocks on stuff like that. But 902 and 1190 just keeping with the momentum of the coin. Pretty good right there. ZRX. So I actually shouted this out yesterday in Slack. I thought this was an interesting situation. Speaking of an early breakout, kind of right there. ZRX has its moments. I can't say they're super often, but you know, it just does. I just remember every once in a while ZRX comes up with a monster day or two. I just feel like we're kind of getting to that point. I don't think this is going to be one of those coins that, you know, rallies for 8,000%, but this is a good move just from kind of where we are to these recent highs, about 40%. So I just thought it was an interesting kind of something that hasn't moved that could move. This one you just kind of have to, I don't want to say take on faith because we have good volume signatures here coming up yesterday. VA tool looks really good, but you kind of just have to take it with a wide stop loss. I think Aram said he took it with a 10% stop loss. I think that's fine as long as you're comfortable with that. What up, Ian? We have both Ians here today. So I think he has a stop down here, which is fine as long as you're comfortable with the amount of risk you're taking on a trade, and it's a wise amount of risk. You don't like put your whole account in this stupid thing, but you know, if the market's super bullish, maybe it'll pop up. Again, 40% move up. This thing can do it pretty quickly. ZRX is a well-known name as well. All right, a couple ones. Want to look at ICP? Looks like want to look at ICP and Spell. Let's take a look at that. ICP, USDT. So yeah, we did have the alert here on ICP. So to your point, you mentioned ICP and Spell pulled back dramatically from the last bull market. I will rephrase your comment and say ICP's never had a rally. This is a piece of garbage. An absolute, I don't know, nor do I care if the technology is any good, to be quite honest with you. As an investment vehicle, this has been nothing but trash. I remember when it IPO'd, because we happened to catch it like right after it IPO'd just by happenstance. It was like $600 and just dove and dove and dove and dove. We're like, wow, this thing's never going to set up. And we kind of lost track of it. And from $600 down to $4 is this alert level. How crazy is that? So it could be due a rally. That's the crazy part, is something that hasn't rallied like this. I've rarely seen assets, at least of any substantive market cap, that hasn't had a rally. And this hasn't had a rally yet. So maybe. Pretty good volume here on the breakout of the 4798. That's a good signature. But you can already see here like a bunch of red candles. But the VA tool likes it. My volume aggregation tool says this is under accumulation. So I'll trust the VA tool kind of over some spiky things, especially since price is up, right? I want to believe the chart over myself. And here's two charts telling me things are going up. So things are going up. Is it going to give you 1,000,000%? I don't know. But that's a pretty darn aggressive trend right there. So as long as it's above that trend line, I say you could try to play with it if you want to. Again, you don't want to buy it extended. You want to make sure your stop losses are manageable. Buy close to the line if you can, and go about your business. That's really about it. But I thought it was unique when you said ICP, because I always think about this thing. I'm like, how does this debut at number 6 and then they dive it down to basically $3? Like how How horrible is that to do that to people? Like you just have no soul. These people just have no freaking soul. Anyway, and then Spell, which I've never heard of. Never heard of Spell. Let's see. Let's check out Spell. Let's go full screen, zoom out, get the bigger picture. Yeah, this sucks too. What is this? What is this? Big volume here, big volume here. I like that. That's not bad. Look, definitely kind of wearing out. RSI's kicking up. Yeah, without really knowing anything about this thing, I do like to know a little bit about what I'm considering trading, or at least analyzing. You know what I mean? I'm not going to trade this, but um, so when I look at something like this, something I do look at is the price action. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, you get these big spikes like this, and look at how small the rest of the volume is. That tells you it's probably not very liquid, or what we call illiquid, right? It's not very liquid. So when someone wants to do something, it's dramatic. You see this big drop, this big drop, this big pop, this big pop. It's just dramatic, and it's kind of hard when a coin isn't very liquid to be safe in it. It's hard to have a safe situation. You have to find a really, really good price action pattern or chart pattern to really have a good feel for this. Now, I will say this: if you were here like this, I'm not super mad at this particular situation. It's kind of like a cup and handle, but it's not very well formed. Okay. Now, another thing to look at. So if you can't see the cup and handle, first of all, to have a cup and handle, you have to have an uptrend. So there's your uptrend. Then you have a cup. Then you have a handle. Okay. It's not very round. It doesn't, cup and handle doesn't have to be perfectly round, but this is almost like a V, like a broad V. Kind of just does that to you. Then you can draw an opposing trend line here, really, until you start to break that and form your handle. It's more of a V shape than a U shape, which generally, at least in my estimation, I'm not even going to say opinion, my estimation means it's under less accumulation. There's something about the round shape of a cup and handle that means accumulation. I can't explain it a lot further than that, other than maybe a gradual, so the decline lessens with every day, right? You kind of form an antiparabola, then you flatten out, then it gets accumulated more, a little more, a little more, and then they don't want to break it out, so they pause it. And that's what forms a cup and handle. This is continuous declination in price, continuous distribution, and then continuous maybe accumulation, you know what I mean? So there's something to this dynamic that is not right. Another thing that's not right, and you guys are getting some good insights right now. I'm just going to tell you. Look at the individual candles. Look at the breadth and how many weird ass wicks there are. And notice the breadth isn't getting any tighter anywhere. It's all about the same. Like here, you get a little bit of tightness here. I'll try to zoom in if you guys can see this. Like this is some good chart minutia shit right here that I'm telling you. So when I'm looking at it, because again, I don't know this asset. When I'm looking at a new asset, I don't like the fact that you got all these little wicks all over the place, just randomly, for no reason. Got a big wick there, some wicks right there, big wick up there, some random wicks right there, some weird random wicks in the middle here for nothing, a big wide wick. Like there's no structure. Versus you look at a Solana. Do I have it up here? I guess not. Versus you look at a Solana, and this is a little bit different. Okay, yes, you do have some wicks, but do you see the difference? Your wicks are in more opportune places. You do see some dynamics in the chart as well. Not every candle is the same, like breadth, if you will, and there's more structure here. Okay, here you do have a big wick at the top. Sure, that's fine. You're going to get big wicks at the top. You have a couple of bottoming candles right here, but you don't get these egregious big wicks in the middle for no effing reason. Like, look at all this. You get one right there, none over here, a little bit of topping as we top. That makes sense. Like, it makes sense. Here's some topping as you consolidate. It makes sense. Like, that other one doesn't make any sense. So I would just avoid it just for those reasons. Because why would you... Here's the thing. You can trade anything. Anything. This spell, no one's forcing you to trade this. So look at that chart versus this chart. You see what I'm saying? Like it's too random. How can you have good stop losses in this environment? It's very, very difficult. So a lot of traders make this mistake is they latch on to some random piece of garbage and put some significance to it in their mind, when in reality, it's legitimately a piece of garbage. And just like, just like if you're walking in the streets and you see a dumpster, okay? Let's say you like to go dumpster diving. I used to when I was a kid. I still kind of like dumpster diving a little bit, actually. It might work. I'll look in there, see if there's anything of value, but I leave most of it alone. 99.9% of the time, I don't touch anything that I see. Um, but if I do see something I like, I don't mind jumping in the dumpster and getting it. You know what I mean? As long as it's not covered in piss or something. So, what do I think of Spell? Maybe it'll have a move, maybe it won't. It's too random. There's too many wicks around. There's no structure to it. Yeah, it's treacherous to trade. Exactly. It's like why and why? I have other options. You know what I mean? It's like going to imagine you had every. I'm assuming everyone here's a guy. Maybe there's one or two girls, but I'm going to use a guy as an analogy because I'm a guy. Imagine you had every woman you've ever considered being with, were with, every woman that liked you out in front of you. Every single one. Just picture in your mind right now, every woman you've had a moment with, you were intimate with, whatever. Like, there's a girl that like, oh, she's kind of cool. I kind of like her. Imagine they were all in front of you and you actually got to have a choice. Wouldn't that be amazing, right? Even if you're a girl, imagine your guys you've been with, had a moment with, right? Wouldn't that be great to go, you know what? In hindsight, I'm taking that one. And I'm gonna marry that one. And it was your choice. Wouldn't that be amazing? Well, guess what we have here? We have that opportunity. So this is like the weird, sketchy, random one that you were like iffy about, weren't super excited about. So why are you spending time on it? Get it out of your mind. That's the best I can say about this chart. It's horrible. It's stupid. You shouldn't think about trading it. You should move on to something better. It's stupid. All right, next up, actually one Mike talked about in Slack, and unfortunately we do BTC pairs last. So sorry, Mike. BTC pairs you want to talk about? Solana. Let's do that. All right. So here's Solana. So he's talking about Solana BTC pushing to clear long-term resistance. Maybe why it's not leading today yet, but imagine once it does get going. So you're saying Spell looks good until you turn the lights on. No, I'm saying Spell is the reason you turn the lights off to begin with. So once again, everyone you've ever been with in front of you, why would you take the mediocre one? You want to turn the lights off? I want very bright lights. I want like amazing lights. I want good angles. I want no shadows. Why'd you pick the one you have to turn the lights off for? What up, Major? All right, Solana BTC. So here's the major resistance. There's a breakdown point. We are, I got some lines here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Look at that tightness. Look at that tightness. I don't even remember doing that, but look at that. Someone pointed that out. That was a very smart person. Look at that tight. It's beautiful. Just beautiful. And yeah, actually, this cup and handle, or this head and shoulders, I think this actually ended up working. Is this really a... Oh, so close. So this had a head and shoulders over here when it was topping, when it formed the base on the USD, had a head and shoulders. Never, it did break out to the downside, but you can see it never really got going. But now that we've gone through, look at that. So I consider 75% of a measured move a hit. We got so close to that right there. That's crazy. Get rid of all this stuff. Yeah, BTC is putting in some good days, and so it's stopping this chart from breaking out. There was a breakdown point which I was going to start drawing right there, which we are playing with, and we are above that. That is a little concerning. Not bad though. Volume coming out of here is very healthy, and That's not what you were talking about. I think though you were talking about this topping, this whole situation right here. Yeah, if that does break out, I agree with you, Mike. Bitcoin's probably stalled at that point, and then Solana's obviously just continuing on. I don't know if we're gonna get. I don't know if. Yeah, I don't know. BTC charts are just getting a little more and a little more confusing. To be honest with you, I've stopped doing the BTC charts every day because it just wasn't giving us too many trades, and it's just too much of a hassle. It wasn't giving us a lot of value. But yeah, I do think a good breakout from this level, I think would be obviously shows Solana is in a tremendous uptrend, which we still get that information from the dollar chart too. How often do I look at Fibonacci? Pretty much you saw when. Yeah, that was it. That was it. I'll occasionally look at if we're looking at pullbacks, just to kind of see where things could potentially go, and not because I believe in Fibonacci's. I just know a lot of people believe in Fibonacci's. And so I just say, oh, it can come back to this 50% level, 61% level, even though 50 is not a Fibonacci, mind you. It just isn't. Okay. So that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to talk about stocks for a little bit if the rest of you guys want to get going. I do have my Real Crypto Power Hour. I guess I'd be stupid if I didn't plug my show a little bit. You go over here to, I'm already logged in, so I think it's in services. And here's the Power Hour. You can sign up down here. So daily newsletters. If you want an example of that, just feel free to email me. And email's at the bottom here, randy@realcrypto.com. Right there. Bottom of the website. Get the follow through day system, which has been in an uptrend, it seems like, since 1972. Quick daily format videos. Some custom indicators that we've written, and our volume aggregation tools included in that. We got a bunch of other ones that are interesting. If you're interested in that. Our alert system in Slack, which you guys know about. And Saturday live stream, which you are a part of. So come on, I'd be an idiot if I didn't at least show it to you once. Other than that, let's talk about stocks. And if you guys do have crypto questions, feel free to show them up, shout them out. I don't know what words mean. Let's do some stock stuff. It has been a pretty interesting week. AMD had a big announcement. Tesla had their Cybertruck event. Oh, okay, there you go, Loopy. Nice, thanks, bud. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. The Nasdaq. Oh, look at that! I didn't even double check on Friday. Wow, look at that! I haven't looked at this since the close. We did break out of that little consolidation. Ho ho ho! Off to the races. I am fully invested in the stock market, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hoping we continue. Are we going to go to all-time highs in the Nasdaq? Probably. So look at this. This looks like the biggest freaking cup and handle you've ever seen on the NASDAQ, doesn't it? Look at that. Remember we just talked about a cup and handle and how its structure should look? I talked about it being round because it kind of shows that you're getting, like, look at that. That's pretty round, right? You got the selling, slowing down, selling, slowing down, going horizontal, curling up a little bit. You can see my trend line here. We did extend up, extending that curl up. The right side of cup and handles are always weird. Not always, but often very weird. And so here's kind of your middle point. We didn't really have a great, it's this, keep in mind, this is an index. Indexes in the stock market are made up of a lot of different assets. And so it's really weird when they paint big price patterns. But look, this is a freaking cup and handle, a massive cup and handle on an index. Can I get a 10 times ETF instead of a 3 times ETF, please? I mean, we could see NASDAQ. We could double this NASDAQ. I'm just saying. And I don't know what that's going to do to the TQQQ. Look at these other big, deep consolidation / look how wide this is. This goes from 22. Look at, just the breadth of this. I'm going to go to the weekly chart, actually. I don't do enough big stuff like this, to be honest with you, but look at how big that is in comparison, going all the way back to June 99. I guess that's when the CME started futures on it, but there's history prior to that. This is the widest consolidation. This is big, and I'm on a log chart if I'm not. Yeah, I'm on a log chart. Let's move this around. Let's see in comparison. It's bigger than that. At least took longer than the COVID. Of course, we know what happened to COVID. That's a 2018 bear market for Trump's tariffs, when Trump was putting tariffs on China, which some of them are still on. That's what caused that one. Also, there was another reason too. interest rates. Fed was also doing interest rate shit. So it was interest rate and it was Trump's thing both. But look how quickly that rebounded. Look at that one. This is like only 2008. Wow. Obviously 2008 was deeper, but that's the scale of this. Wow, that's crazy. I haven't looked at this before. You're doing this live with me, ladies and gentlemen. So let's hope next few years will be good. So if we take 2008, 2009 as maybe our last analog to this, this is kind of a large one too. I know we were already in a downtrend, but let's just treat this as its own thing. One interesting thing about both of these, you see those 3 lines I have coming out of 2008? You can almost duplicate that over here. Look at that. And then 2008 happened. Here we didn't get the 2008. This just started rallying. So maybe we're in for a couple more years of some kind of upward trending sideways action, and then we start a monster move of two years from now. I don't know, but that is a big. No wonder everyone's scared. I guess I just sold off and stayed mostly cash. Don't get me wrong, I did some damage to my situation up here, but I mean, I'm already back at a really good spot. I gotta say, I'm back at a really good spot. I was thinking Thursday and Friday I need to be more aggressive with my options trading, because I trade options in the stock market, and right now I think let me look at my chart or my holdings in my. So I traded my Roth IRA for those of you that are in the U.S. or interested in kind of doing what I do. Yeah, join the Power Hour. We'll do it together. But let's see what I got right now. Jeez, my dog is crazy. Okay, so I've got where's percentage of account? It doesn't show me. It shows me total gain. Shows me value. Days gain. Doesn't show me. Okay, I have to do it manually. So, okay, so right now I have NVIDIA just stock. I just have NVIDIA stock with just almost a third of the account. Actually, a little over a third of the account, which is way too heavy for me just to be in a stock. Then I have the TQQQ with about 30%, and then I have options for another 30%, I guess. So I'm over 30. I think I'm 40% in NVIDIA, 30% TQQQ, and then 30% AMD and Apple options. So let's take a look. So first of all, the TQQQ. If the NASDAQ doubles, let's look at the last time the NASDAQ doubled. This high is 16, so that's 8,350. All right, that's about a double. Only 90%. What am I doing here? Okay, I'm stupid. I should just use the better tools at my disposal. Here, we'll just go. We'll start on the bottom here. Let's go to the bottom because it's easy to market. Let's go up 100%. Okay, so the bottom up until January 19th, 2021. January 19th, right there. What percentage is that? 540%. That's so funny. I don't know if the NASDAQ's going to double. I don't know. I don't know. It's a big ass cup and handle. It looks really good, but if you don't want anything else, if you want to take it easy, maybe it is just the TQQQ. 540%. Holy crap. Give or take right there, 287. Give or take right there. So that's crazy. I almost just want to put my whole account in this. Just do that. That is a tremendous Tremendous move if that happens. Now let's keep in mind if this does double, 16,000 be 32,000 Nasdaq. And the thing here is this: is you can't be scared by the number. It's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be what it's going to be, and you really don't have any control over that. Now, if we take off log scale, it's going to seem insane, obviously, but that also looks insane. And I don't know. Maybe they'll meet with inflation. Maybe inflation's done. I don't know the dynamics that are going to be at play if and when this happens. All I know is that it is a big ass cup and handle. And if the market's breaking out, I'm looking at scenarios, possible scenarios. This, I guess, is a possible scenario, in which case Apple's probably going to have a $5 trillion market cap. Tesla's probably going to get up close to $1 trillion market cap. AMD's going to get, Nvidia, I mean, they're already at $1 trillion. They're going to be at 2-3 trillion. If a move like that happens, Microsoft already is on its way. It's a tremendous opportunity, I think, in front of us here, to be quite honest with you. So if you don't think you can do better than 540%, then I say you just buy the TQQQ. But I mean, that's a good ass performance. I don't care if this takes 3, 4, 5 years. It doesn't matter, because the fact of the matter is 537% is 537%. Okay, now I'm going to simulate my account up 537%. Which I don't think, I think I'll do better than that, to be honest with you. That's just my thoughts. All right, there you go. Well into some really good numbers there. I like it. I think I can get there sooner, though. All right. Let's go through some individuals. Let's go back to the daily. So I haven't really been super in touch with the stock market, to be honest with you guys. You guys in the show know that, like I didn't know this was up here yesterday because I didn't really check it too much. I already had my positions anyways. But like I said, my Nvidia, I have a bunch of Nvidia. Like I said, probably about 40% of my account right now is Nvidia. I'm not mad at just having Nvidia, but there's better we can do. We can trade on margin. We could trade options. We could trade those leveraged ETFs. There's ways to do better. And even if you only want to play with them a little bit, it's worth the experience, I think. So, don't put, now options are extremely dangerous. I do want to say that. I don't want to say that flippantly, whatever. Options are extremely dangerous. I had a member recently just switch back to stocks because options were just too much. And, it's a learning curve, but in really good markets with really good entry points, options are just crazy. So for instance, my Riot trade here, I think I bought it as it was kind of breaking out down here. That's up 100%. I had an Nvidia option that I bought at this low down here, and at its peak, it was up 250%. You know what I mean? Just on this move, I bought it basically at the close of that down day. It was up 24% move, and I had a 10x move on that just because of options. So there's ways to do it. And that 250%, I sold it. It was only up 185%, but that'll pay for a lot of mistakes. Absolutely. I'm never losing 100% again on an option. I made that mistake too many times. But anyway, the fact of the matter is when we're in an uptrend, you want to find ways to be to make multiples if you can. If you can, make multiples. And I think it's very easy to do in a bullish environment. Crypto's very bullish. Stocks are getting very bullish. I think the naysayers of the economy are probably going to be found wrong very soon. Tesla, I haven't really put a lot of resources into this the past couple of weeks, but this is looking good. Look how tight this is up here. You look up over here when we've rolled over, you generally roll over fairly quickly. Gold could be a good example of that. Gold recently has been talks about this getting towards all-time highs, and I mentioned this in real time. Look at every time it goes to the top, it wicks right down, and I said, let's see how that happens. Wicked right down, wicked right down, wicked right down. Look what we're doing here, wicking right down. So unless it rebounds and retakes and holds up here, that's going to be different. Like this was a little bit different, but it still didn't do it. So when we were full candle here, I'm like, let's see if we gap back down or not, and we did. So you have to pay attention to stuff like that. But Tesla's not doing that. Tesla's actually holding pretty nice right here. So let's look at all these ones, right? Wicks down, wicks down, wick down, wick down. This one stayed up here for a day or two, but then down. This one stayed up here for one day, then down. This one not backing away. This is a bit of a change in behavior. I think this could lead to at least stability, if not a full-blown rally, because the market's going for it. So eventually they'll be like, fine, I guess I got to buy freaking Tesla. And they will have to buy Tesla as the rest of the market rallies. Microsoft is already in rally mode. There's your all-time high, right? Yeah, that's our all-time high, and we are above it. We almost treated it like a pivot point. Okay, so Microsoft is in a good spot. Apple, that's not Apple. Apple just hit 3 trillion again, and looks like it's on its way. Double bottom base right here. So I actually did take that Apple position right there on this green day, right through there on this day. So that's your buy point. And look at the volume on that day. That is really good. I think this is still in a buyable position, up 3%. So it should at least go up 20% from this line. That's my theory on this. So we should be up here 230, give or take. That's about where Apple's going to end up. And my option is like 400 or 500% if that move occurs. So again, I'm trying to find good things going on. And if I get 400% of that, that'd be really good. That'd be good chunks for the account. Which is how I will do better than 537% at least, hopefully. And then AMD, a little bit skeptical, but the volume on that news makes me a little less skeptical, and hopefully it stabilizes out nicely. Like I mentioned, I do have an AMD position. Probably took it right there. I'm up a little bit, like 10% or something like that. Nothing crazy. And then Amazon holding really nice and tight here, right here at this pivot point, resistance level, whatever you want to call it. Looks like we are hopefully about ready to go. But all right, guys, I got to go. That's all I got. I think the markets are in a good position. I think we're going to have some pullbacks. I think we're going to have some moves, but all in all, stability is rewarded in this environment. So as long as we're stable up here, don't get impatient. That's the weakness of all traders, is after we have these big moves, we get impatient. Okay, so I think that's a key takeaway here that I didn't really talk about. Can't talk about everything all the time. Remember all of it. It's a lot of stuff. But as long as we're holding up, we're stable, we're good. Don't get too impatient. That's all I got to say. Don't get too impatient. Let things work out. How's Solana doing? Yeah, we definitely came down a little bit more. 25 minutes left. Volume isn't too bad. It's a little heavy. Probably end up being right about there by the time we're done. But Solana stalling here at the 80. How's Chainlink doing? It's doing okay. Hasn't fully broken out yet, but good stuff overall. All right, everyone. I got to run. I got to go coach soccer. It's going to be a busy ass day for me today. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And I will see you guys next time, whenever that is. Have a great day.